Well, if anybody's been following, I've been messing with this bow. I've been having some issues prior. One of the things that I didn't like is the D-loop that was on there originally was a little bit big, and now I went super small. I like it smaller, but I need to adjust it just a little bit more. But it's been a pain, even just tying in for the knock sets for the lighted knocks that I have that I wanted to try out. So far, man, it's just been a pain to tune just before I even actually fully tune, paper tune or anything like that. It's hard to get it right. But for now, I think that was really close to what I wanted, but ooh, careful. I just didn't give myself just enough to make it perfect. These knock sets have seen better days already just because I've been testing like crazy. The center serving might not make it much longer. I might have to take that apart and redo the center serve just because of all these D-loops I've already put on it. That center serving can take a beating. Starts messing everything up. Try to save it, but it's not looking great. Not looking great already. But I will say knock points have been pretty solid. I didn't have any issues with the knock sets, at least so far. You know, knock on wood. It's actually been pretty good. I'm wondering if, for whatever reason, I'm getting a little bit of knock pinch still, because this stuff is super tight. It worked out great. I haven't had any issues. I just think that my center serving might be giving up on me, so try my best to save it, but I don't think so. I think it'll need a new serving before I do anything extra crazy, because I'll redo the serving and then I'll redo another because I don't know if I like that serving material. It's a little bigger than I usually use, but I wanted to try it. Supposedly it's supposed to give you still a little bit more I guess a little bit of flexibility when you tie it in, but I feel like, you know, so far it's been super tight. Like I haven't had any issues with it at all. And the X knock fits perfect, but when I do the actual lighted knock, I'm having issues even after retying it multiple times just to get that perfect fit. It's been kind of a pain. So like, let's see. So right now, this is what I tied it with, and then to get it off, that sucker is on there. Like it's snug. It's a little too snug, but that's what I'm doing now. Is I'm gonna redo this little bit of serving here because I don't like it. I think I'm gonna use a smaller batch of serving on the top and then use that nice fat serving on the bottom that keeps my arrow nice and flat. But this is the one that you really got to be careful with. Much smaller fibers when you're cutting it off. I use, you know, of course, a razor blade, or either that or get you a really sharp knife that you can control a little better, and then try not to cut your own fucking strings off there. So, but I did tie this on there really well just to be sure. I did a couple of like double wraps. I didn't want it to go anywhere, obviously, so that's a little bit overkill, honestly, but I definitely wanted it to cinch down the way I wanted it to initially, and I think I just did it a little too tight, little overdid at this point. So, but good thing, just take your time and cut it off and make sure you don't cut your string. So, and then I'm gonna reset this knock point. That way I got a really good set. I'm gonna use a slightly smaller wrap on this one because this string is pretty thick. I'm gonna use a little bit smaller thread on the top one, but still get it to wrap really well. But got choices. So I have a box full of different stuff just in case I need to buy some more colors. People love the colors, but I think I'll just go with that for now. The green's been really easy to find and cheaper than most. I think maybe that's just because people are kind of sick of it at this point, but I'm good with it either way. I've been having good luck with finding it and buying it because it's cheaper. So it's either that or black. Nothing cheaper than just the regular black thread either. And then you can do that stuff multiple times and then don't have to worry about it because you're not using that much. That's, you can buy one of these and use it a lot. I think this one's, yeah, BCY 3D. So just nice little string. I do like the fibers being a little bit smaller for this. And then I usually take just a good enough piece that I can get a good grip on both sides and tie it nice. You don't need a giant one, but I like to have it, you know, relatively 6 to 8 inches. Usually I'll do 2 with that 6 to 8 inches, but like right now I'm gonna cut this a little shorter because I don't need that much for the top one. And just mark it with that, and then take it and cut it right off on the plastic. All right, and that should give me plenty. It's not much, but you don't need much for the knock set. I am gonna keep trying with the stupid lighted knocks, but man, I have had nothing but issues with that. But I am going to try my dangest this time around to get me a good tie right away. I'm just gonna loop it right away. Get it down on top. And again, you want a little bit of space when you start that first knot. I've seen a lot of people work the other way, like towards the actual knocking point. I think it's easier to get it tighter that way. I don't know if I like it that way though. Like, once I've got it to where I want it, I want enough that I can cinch it down, just enough to make sure it's tight. And then this is where it comes into play, where sometimes the longer one's so much easier to use, so you don't have this issue. But I also don't want to use a bunch because I've been doing this a bunch, and I want to tie this set in, get it tight with a little bit of space. That way when it does crush down just a little bit, it's not gonna hinder it. But I do want that little bit of squeeze so that I can keep that knock point healthy, because these knocks are way bigger than the regular X knocks. I wonder if there's one a little bit better than that. I bought a couple of different ones, but this lighted knock has been bane of my existence for a little bit, especially with tuning. I've noticed that big time with the tuning. I've already had multiple issues trying to get it to tune right. You're adding, 20 something grains to the back of that arrow, and it's like way overkill. It's just a lot of weight, a lot of extra weight that you're pulling around on your arrow, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I really don't. In fact, I think it's probably not a good thing. But yeah, is what it is. So, and then you do want to get a good cinch on it, that way it's nice and tight. And then once you put on your, see, I have a good little space now, just like last time, just enough so that it's not too crazy, because I want it to sit on there. But once you squeeze it together with your D-loop, what happens sometimes is that knock point will move on you just a hair, possibly. But I think it's just because my center serve might be on its last legs to begin with. But now that you have that kind of finished up, make sure you put a couple of good knots on it. Make sure it's close to being tight, as tight as you can get it with the short strings. This is why I use the long strings, but still plenty on there, especially since I might have to cut it again. But also the string's a little thinner. As you can see, the bottom one I used kind of a fat one, and it was nice because it sits nice and flat, gives it a good shelf. But the top one seemed to scrunch it too much. I know that a lot of people don't run the top one to lock it in, which makes sense to me because you kind of get really squished in there, but it really makes it perfect to redo this kind of stuff, because then I know pretty close to where my last one was, and it's a non-issue, you know. It kind of makes it easier for me that way. But all right, so now I'm thread. That one's done. I think that's sat for long enough. Try to get it short enough, but not too short. Oop. There we go. And then now that it's kind of stuck up, double knotted. Golly, I hope I didn't cut that too short. But even if I did, we'll figure it out. So, and then for this kind of stuff, I typically don't like to burn it straight up and down, just because it's much easier at a side. So take it to the side, pin it over, pull that little tail out, burn it real good, flatten it